So, welcome, Kyle Gillette from way out west. I'm glad I didn't wake you up, as I like to say. um, Kyle is a certified coach, behavioral analyst, creator of the Sage Mindset Leadership Framework, and he works with small businesses, business owners, and leaders. And he focuses on helping clients build powerful self-awareness in their life and businesses. And I love that because I say I'm a small business. I work with small to medium businesses. So tell me a little bit. I don't often start this way, but I think it's a fun sort of, we'll go back to a little bio, but what's a day in the life? I think a lot of times people hear business coach, and there are a lot of coaches out there, but what you get up in the morning, you told me you got up at 5:30. Tell me like how your day starts.
Well, yeah, thank you for having me. And I'd love to share. So every day of the week, I get up at 5:30. And that's the goal. I don't make it every single time, and I'm tracking it too to make sure that I do get up on time and how well I do with that time window. But get up at 5:30 and I spend time meditating, praying, reading, and really focusing on myself, growing myself and developing myself and figuring out where the heck I want to go with my life, with my growth, with my business and all that, because it's easy to adjust and make changes when you're really in tune with your clients and you're in tune with yourself. And so every morning I spend about an hour and a half doing that. And then there's the gap of about 7 to 8-ish or so where my kids are getting ready for school. We're getting them on the bus and doing all that kind of thing. And then from 8 o'clock on, it really depends on the day. But a lot of the times there's this need to kind of get centered around what the heck I'm going to do for the day. Mm-hmm. So I check my calendar, I check my email, and I look through and figure out what I'm going to do for the day. Every Monday, I spend 30 minutes in a CEO meeting with myself, where I'm reflecting on how the business is doing and asking those questions that you would in a stand-up meeting, like in a corporate setting. So every Monday morning, I want to center myself around the work of my business and get dialed in and ask the questions that I need to ask and get that figured out. And then again, the rest of the week.
I've never had someone tell me that. And being that I work for myself, I love that. I'm going to call it a tip. I love that idea, actually, because, do you put that on your calendar that's a set time?
Yep.
So Kyle, I love that because I'm going to steal that from you, and I'm going to give you full credit. There you go. Because I think that we talk often about being good to ourselves and doing things to ourselves, but not always in business,
Yeah.
And sometimes I think about my business, but it's 11 o'clock at night. Or what do I have to do the next day? Or what do I have to do for my own business? Or what's my social media? Or what, but not necessarily during the work day.
Yeah.
And the work. So I'm going to stick that. And Monday's a great day.
Yeah, totally.
You can check up on me on that. I'm going to do that.
Sure.
I like that.
Well, and on the self-awareness front, I'm sure your listeners, your viewers have heard of Tasha Eurich and her research on self-awareness. And if I'm remembering the statistics correctly, it's only like 15% of us are actually self-aware. And I don't even want to claim that I am, because I hope I'm in the 15%, but I may not be. And so we have to put the work in. And self-awareness is that first layer of the leadership house, is what I call it. But it's the first layer of the leadership house. But there's kind of 3 pieces to it that I've realized that can really help. And that one of them is, like I shared with you, is that business meeting with yourself. And for me, I get out my iPad and I pull out my Notability app and I ask questions. I act as if there is a CEO in the room with me, and I'm listening to him or her and getting their input. And so I ask some questions, I think about it, and then I write down the responses, and then I act on it throughout the week and throughout the month. And it seems kind of weird, but it's that brainstorming, those brainstorming moments, and it's really powerful. The other piece that is really helpful for self-awareness and staying in the right mindset, the right place, is what I call the magic of transitions. And this is something I want to actually write a whole book on, because I think it's just such a phenomenal thing. But it's the idea that after you and I talk on this call, you're probably going to get up and go do something. You may check your email before, but you're very likely to get up pretty soon after our conversation. Well, that's a transition. And in that transition, we have two options. Three options really. We can waste it and just move on. We can reflect and think about the previous conversation, reflect on what's to come, those types of things, or we can listen. We can listen to what's going on with our bodies, what's going on around us, what intuitive messages are being told to us. But either path, reflect or listen, is really powerful. Now, it's okay if you don't leverage every single transition, of course. That's really tough to do. But it creates this really, really high level of awareness of yourself, your body, your emotions, your spirit, all that stuff. But then it also allows you to reflect on what's happened in those moments before the transition. And I'm still working on it, and I'm getting better. But this is a really powerful habit that moves things forward.
It's really interesting. Is there a key to when you just said like you might waste it. Let me start with because I think a lot of us might waste it. Like
Sure.
Initially as we begin this. So is there a key to allowing ourselves the wasting it versus the cluing in, I think what you're saying is you want to sit with it for a minute and take it in, or maybe think about what just happened, right?
Yes.
So I think like what I'm hearing is, okay, not every time is probably one of those take it in moments, but how do you know?
I think for me, it's the phrase has been really helpful for me, the magic of the transition. And if I experience that phrase or hear that phrase or just kind of have that pause, then I know I can do it. Sometimes it's when you get in your car and it's quiet for a moment, like, oh, this is a moment. Yeah. Or when you've had kind of a high emotion experience, whether good or bad, you go, oh, this is a moment. And then you take advantage of it and do the reflection or do the listening. And the thing is, I might do it only 3 to 4 times a day right now. And how many transitions do we have in a day? 150 or something like that. So, it's not that often at this point, but I want to make it even more often, because it's about being mindful. It's about being present. And the more present I am with the people I'm serving and with my family and everything, especially since I work from home, the more effective I can be. And for me, I'm very emotional. It's easier for me to jump forward and not focus on the present. I want to jump to the future. And so I think it's that intuitive hit that you get where you're, oh, this is a moment. Let me take it. And how long does it take to do this? 5 to 10 seconds. Mm-hmm. We're not talking meditating for 10 minutes. Meditating is fantastic, but we don't have time in our day to do that kind of thing.
No, I think, Kyle, what you're saying is just sometimes I say, take a beat.
Yeah, exactly.
Take a beat, take it in, breathe, take a beat, take a breath, just let what just happened hit you. I mean, like this to me right now is that moment, like where I'm hearing something and I'm thinking, you got to this is a reminder of such. Sometimes it's a reminder of like, if you're in a meeting and something great just happened, take that beat, take that moment, think about it. How are you going to work with it? I'm loving this conversation. I needed this conversation today. Thank you.
Well, what's cool too about it is you can do this in the midst of other people, because when you are reflective like that for even just 5 seconds, it allows you to be much more fruitful in your conversations and your communication with people. I mean, the high stakes communication with spouses or significant others is one of those situations, but also in business meetings, people really appreciate the thoughtful response. In business, so many people are in such a hurry, and I get that, but I don't know if you've ever been around that person that gives you that silence, that pause, and they
Mhm.
just like pull you in, and you're
Yeah.
going, oh my gosh, they're going to say something amazing, and you have to listen. We can do that with ourselves often, and we can do that with others often too. And it's really, really a good thing.
I'm actually honored when I'm the one who delivers that too. And I think that if you've been in that situation where you have someone sitting across from you waiting for that moment too, and I ask people who are listening, if you start to put that into your being, you will start to deliver that to someone too, and they will be pulled in to what you have to say, because
Yeah.
you're starting to be mindful as well, and authentic. I do want to go back because I would be remiss, but you were the creator of Sage Mindset Leadership. So tell me, what is that and how people work with you? Because now we've gotten a little essence
Sure.
of I think what you do, but how do people work with you? What does that all mean?
Yeah, so let me give you a little bit of an origin story of Sage, and then I'll definitely answer that. So Sage is kind of the offshoot of my experience working in a men's mentoring program. So I worked and lived in a men's mentoring program for 10 years. So I didn't live there for 10 years, but I lived there for about a year and then worked there total of 10. And it was these young men, 18 and 25 years old, that were off track in life. So they had, a lot of them had drug and alcohol histories. And so we taught them life skills, essentially. And a lot of those life skills are wrapped up into Sage, but it wasn't called that at the time. We helped them create something called a life map. And it helped them answer three fundamental questions: where am I, where do I want to go, and how do I get there, in the 7 fundamental areas of life. And so we helped them create a life map and move them forward. And after doing that for about 10 years, like I said, I needed to move. I needed to move with my family and move up here to Washington, but I didn't want to give up those things. And so um, I thought, okay, if I'm going to step into a new situation from living and working with these guys that a lot of people labeled unleadable, I want to step into working with people and helping them to lead others, because I had so much wonderful experience, and I was mentored for 10 years by this gentleman that had run 30 different businesses, was retired at 50, multimillionaire, and was supporting the program. Like, I was so fortunate to have all this wisdom dumped into my life and mentored. So long story short, a couple jobs later, I start my business. And I realized that I needed to create something that was my own so that I could do whatever I wanted with it and allow it to be useful for leaders. So 3 a.m, I wake up and I hear self-awareness. And I'm like, what the heck is that? And I had been working for a couple months on some sort of a model, some sort of a framework to help people to better understand what leadership is and how to lead people. And not that I have it figured out, because I don't, but frameworks are really helpful so that people can plug their own style into it, right? So I don't assume that I have it all figured out, but this really helps to dial it in. So anyway, I jump out of bed. It's 3 a.m. I run to the kitchen table, and I'm shivering there for 4 hours, writing out the beginnings of this framework.
Wow.
And from there, it's really evolved quite a bit, because it's been about 3 years since that moment,
Mhm.
and it's been really amazing. So SAGE stands for self-awareness, accountability, growth, and empowerment. And I believe that all great leaders have all 4 pillars of those things in their lives and in their leadership. And if you think about it like a leadership house, self-awareness is the foundation to anyone's leadership. The stronger, the thicker, the deeper that foundation is, the more you can build on top of it. Then you get to growth, and growth is the walls and the roof. And again, the more you have a growth mindset, the larger the building, the larger the structure can be in which people can be under and a part of your leadership. And then you have empowerment, which is the windows and the doors. So this allows people to see in and come into your leadership, but also to see out and leave from underneath your influence and your leadership, so they can be empowered to do their own thing as well as leaders. And then
Mhm.
lastly, you have accountability, and that's the nails that holds everything together. That's the creates the structural integrity. Without accountability, the whole thing's going to crumble. So that in a nutshell is the leadership house that is Sage, and kind of a little bit of the origin story.
And you say that you work with small businesses and the owners and leaders, and I can see the reason behind that. What do you find that certainly I'd say pre-pandemic and then through this past year, that these small business owners are really searching for through and working with you? What are
they want clarity of direction.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times they come to me and say, oh, I'm just so scattered, I'm overwhelmed, I'm so confused, I'm overworked, or whatever those things are. And they might be, and that's true for a lot of business owners. I mean, I find the word business and busyness to be kind of funny because they're so dang close. And this is what happens. But underneath all that is they're feeling a little bit directionless. So they're feeling like they're not sure what they should do next with their business. But what that means is that they need to be centered themselves. They need to figure out, okay, what is this vision that I have for my business? No matter what type of business it is, they need to get clarity on where they want to go as a leader within their business. And so the first step is to get those goals lined up, to get their time management dialed in, to get all that figured out. But once that's dialed, then they have the mind space to actually start thinking about the bigger picture of mindset, the bigger picture of the vision, the legacy they want to leave as a leader, and the impact they want to have. So they come to me for time, but ultimately it's these shifts in mindset and behaviors.
Yeah, and and I'm in a unique position. I think sometimes in PR you wear hats that you didn't anticipate, which can be business development, marketing, but and I never profess to be the business coach at all, but you hear things like exactly what you're talking about is I'm overwhelmed. I'm trying to figure out my goals. And I talk a lot about branding and at the beginning of working with someone and setting goals. And it kind of, I really think, the more I work with a new client and my continuous clients, that I need to bring in business coaches, because you start off talking about branding and goals, but really on this other hand, you have businesses that are trying to figure out what their goals are. And, as small businesses, they're wearing so many hats that they sometimes can't, see the trees through the forest. Is that the saying?
Yeah.
Because they're, in my world, I'm saying, well, who's doing your social media? Who's doing your website? Who's doing, and, I need someone like you to say, okay, let's clear the path. Let's, move this publicist out of the way for a minute and stop clouding those things. But I really, I could keep talking to you because I love this conversation, and more so, I love the fact that I think the most important thing I think that you've stressed today is just the listening element, taking this magic of transition. And in so many conversations, not only that, it can be, a whole meeting. There can be multiple times that happens. So for me today, I am now going to institute business. I always say, like, welcome to my staff meeting, but I kid about it because, like, this is my staff meeting here and here, but I am actually going to have a staff meeting now, and awesome. And I love that. But I also am really going to really take in what you said today about the magic of transition, and really start listening in those conversations, and trying to listen for those aha moments, those take the beat. For me, that's what I use. But I so appreciate this conversation. I want people to it's in my blurb about our conversation today, you can get more information at gillettesolutions.com. I'm going to post this. It's on my business page. I'm going to put it over to my personal page so you can get more information. I definitely need to know when that book comes out, because we're gonna have that conversation. Do a white paper. I don't care what, put it out there. That's my
Awesome.
PR. That's my PR tip.
Yeah.
Get it out.
Yeah.
Get it out there.
What's fun too is I'm developing an app to help people with these habits that we're talking about. And it should be done in October. And the way it's set up is as we all know, we have these habits and desires that we want to implement, and we want to create this better track record of moving towards growth, moving towards progress in our professional development and personal development. What the app does is it gives you an opportunity to track that, to score yourself, and then to do it in a community that supports you and encourages you through the process, including myself. So I'll be in there supporting and encouraging people.
Okay,
but I love
it. That. If I'm not doing, I told you I'm going to take a break from Facebook, but will you contact me, because we'll just do one anyway and get it out there and really promote it. I think, in this day and age, people really, their phones aren't ever far from them. And, we live and breathe by our phones. We track our exercise, we track our weight, we track our sleep. And, if we need to track our successes of accountability and things, then we need to do that. I mean, we have our calendars. I mean, it's,
I totally agree.
There's a sort of sickness to it, but I always, when people say your phone's not far from you, the truth of the matter is the phone is there for success too. And so anybody who likes to make fun of my type A with my phone, the truth is that phone actually helps me be successful. So that's how I combat that. I can put it down. So, but definitely come back. Let's re-engage this conversation for sure.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Well, I wish you a great day, a great week, and I'm so glad we got a chance to talk.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, have a great day.
You too.